Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Sauce, MLB Wednesday. So what we're doing this year, this is how we're going to start the season out, see how it works out. We did a little bit last year. For Wednesdays and Thursdays, these days that have a lot of day games, we're going to run 2 live shows. So the first one's going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We'll go through the first 10 games, the day games, and then we'll go live again at 4 p.m. Eastern time and go through the 5 night games. So that's the plan as far as the live shows here for Wednesday. As far as Tuesday night, I won the Angels at plus money, but I lost the Reds. That was at plus money also. And I got the Rays. So I won I'm 2-1 so far. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, I had a good night. But actually my 3 biggest bets are later. So we'll see. So that's how Tuesday night's going. Yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to go through 2 games in this one. And whatever I don't get to, we'll go through on the live shows.
Welcome to the Sauce. The Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
First up, we got St. Louis on the road in San Diego here. Padres laying minus 150 juice and the total sitting at 8. Let's take a look at the pitching matchup. We got Zach Thompson on the mound for the Cards, Joe Musgrove pitching for the Padres. So let's start out by taking a look at the matchup for Joe Musgrove here. As you probably already know, this season started off kind of rough for him. Through 8 1/3 innings pitched, he's allowed 15 hits, 3 walks, and 9 runs already. A 9.72 ERA, 108 home runs per 9, a whip over 2. That's really terrible. That's terrible for anyone's standards, let alone Joe Musgrove. And if you look at his expected numbers, I mean, it indicates that he's not even having bad luck. He's just getting shelled. 12.63 expected ERA, 6.38 expected FIP, high barrel rate, high hard hit rate. So Joe Musgrove definitely does not have his best stuff working right now. That being said, if you are a Padres fan, you can definitely hold on to the fact that he started off slow last year as well. Through 5 starts last year, he had a 6.75 ERA, a 4.82 expected FIP, 1.58 whip. In his 12 starts after that, look at the numbers. I mean, 1.84 ERA, 3.33 expected FIP. So he started off pretty poorly last season as well, and then caught fire and was one of the best pitchers in baseball down the stretch. One thing we need to be careful of here, this Cardinals lineup is definitely not one to sleep on. I feel like this is a very undervalued lineup. People talk about the Cardinals like there's this trash team. They're kind of loaded. Last year, they're top 10 in WRC+, top 10 in OPS against right-handed pitching, 4th in expected WOBA, 5th in expected slugging. Yeah, they didn't look great in their opening series against the Dodgers, but how many lineups are going to look great against Glasnow, Bobby Thriller, and Yamamoto? I mean, definitely a tough 3 starting pitchers to start the season off of. We just saw the Cards bats break out for 6 runs in the first game of this series, and yeah, like I said, I think this is an undervalued lineup. If you look at Musgrove's last 3 starts against the Cardinals from 2020 to 2022, he actually dealt a 1.13 ERA, a 1.25 whip, and a 0.56 home runs per 9. That being said, those starts are when Joe Musgrove was in his best form, pitching at his best. Currently not in that state right now. The current lineup actually has good career numbers against them. 902 OPS, a 312 batting average, and a 15% walk rate. So the current Cardinals hitters do have great career numbers against Musgrove. Paul Goldschmidt specifically, this dude is 11 of 21 lifetime off Musgrove with 2 doubles and a homer, a 1429 OPS. So if you're a player prop guy, Paul Goldschmidt has had a field day hitting off Musgrove in his career. The other matchup is Zach Thompson against the Padres lineup, and this is a rough one. This is where it gets tough if you're trying to bet the Cardinals here. He opened up the season, got absolutely rocked by the Dodgers. 6 hits, 3 homers, 2 walks, 5 runs through just 5 1/3 innings. Now he's up against a Padres lineup that was elite against left-handed pitching last year. 2nd in WRC+, 6th in isolated power. Definitely a tough start to the handicap for Zach Thompson. And despite losing Soto and Sanchez in the offseason, Padres still have 6 different guys in their lineup that have a WRC plus of 125 or higher against lefties in the last 3 seasons. So I don't see any reason why the Padres aren't an elite lineup against left-handed pitching again this year. We saw Zach Thompson make a home start last year in St. Louis against this Padres team, put up 5 hits, 4 walks, and 3 runs through just 4 innings of work. So they had no problem getting to Thompson last season. Through 11 career starts, Zach Thompson's got a 5.34 ERA, 3.49 WOBA, 1.8 home runs per 9. I mean, this isn't looking great. He does have a 4.37 expected FIP, so it indicates he was a bit unlucky, but as a whole, this is looking like a real rough matchup for Zach Thompson. And it gets even worse when you consider the fact that the Padres are projected to have 8 righties in their lineup for this game. Last year, Zach Thompson on the road against righties, granted, very small sample size, 2.5 home runs per 9 and a 167 whip. I think all signs point to Zach Thompson getting shelled here. As far as betting this game, obviously I want to wait to see some bullpen usage. This game isn't even over yet. These two teams are playing. Prop Beaver likes first 5 over 4.5, and the Padres first 5 team total over at plus 114. So it looks like Prop Beaver is just strictly fading this matchup for fading Thompson in this spot, which I can't say I disagree with. I might end up tailing him there. So I like the Padres to get to Thompson. Really comes down to whether or not you think Joe Musgrove snaps out of his funk or not. The Cardinals lineup definitely might be a little bit undervalued, so worries me. So I'd like that first 5 over at -4. It's over 4.5 at -105. Let's take that. I'm gonna bet that next game. Yankees on the road in Arizona. Looks like the D-backs are very short dogs right now. -105. Total sitting at 8.5. On the mound for the Yanks, we got Carlos Rodon. On the mound for Arizona, Merrill Kelly. So let's start out with the matchup for Merrill Kelly against the Yankees lineup. And good news, Merrill Kelly actually has great career numbers against the current Yankees lineup. The Yankees lineup lifetime through 67 plate appearances, just 570 OPS. They're just batting 179 against Merrill Kelly and over a 24% strikeout rate. Through 2 career starts against the Yankees, Merrill Kelly's 1-0 with a 2.61 ERA and a 1.26 whip. Merrill Kelly, nice looking numbers against the Yanks. And we know Merrill Kelly at home in the desert is usually a reliable spot. Over the last 3 years, Merrill Kelly's got a 3.06 ERA at home, home run per 9 under 1, a 110 whip. Really nice looking splits at home here for Merrill Kelly. That's over 3 seasons as well. Now, we know this Yankees lineup is off to a red hot start this season, but a lot of the credit for that goes to Juan Soto. He's just on a rampage, over a 22% walk rate, 171 WRC plus. I mean, he's putting up MVP plus numbers right now. Merrill Kelly actually has great career numbers against Juan Soto. Just a 785 OPS and 1 extra base hit through 14 at-bats. What should worry you if you're on Arizona here is the Yankees are crushing right-handed pitching to start the season. 140 WRC plus, 185 isolated power, an 823 OPS as a team. But I think it's worth noting who they did it against. I mean, against Hunter Brown and Christian Javier, Yanks were held to 0 runs and 8 hits through 10 combined innings. So yeah, the Yankees have some excellent numbers against right-handed pitching, but we've seen 2 reliable righty starters pitch well against the Yankees this year. Now, when they've seen some lesser competition in JP France or Ryan Nelson, they lit it up. I mean, 8 runs, 11 hits, 5 walks through just 8 1/3 innings. So no question the Yankees can beat up on bad righty starters, but we've seen decent righty starters pitch well against them, and Merrill Kelly is definitely a decent starter. Now, it's important to point out that while I'm recording this, I don't know how the Yankees looked against Zach Gallen yet. That game's about to start in 10 minutes. So this will be a good test to see how the Yankees look against Zach Gallen on the road in Arizona. But as a whole, I don't think it's crazy to think Merrill Kelly pitches a good game here. Now let's take a look at the matchup on the other side. We got Carlos Rodon against the Arizona offense. Rodon looked mediocre to start the season. He only allowed 1 run. But through 4 1/3 innings, he allowed 5 hits and 3 walks, and that is definitely not going to fly. If you're allowing those kind of base runners in 4 1/3 innings, you're going to be allowing more than 1 run as the season progresses. But I have good news for you if you're betting the Yankees here. Lifetime, Rodon has dominated these bats. The current Arizona lineup, lifetime against Rodon, 60 plate appearances, just a 167 average. They're hitting just 167. Off Rodon lifetime with a 492 OPS. Ketel Marte, who's probably the D-backs' best bat against left-handed pitching, just 1 of 15 lifetime off Rodon with 3 walks and 4 strikeouts, just a 356 OPS. Now, where this one gets tricky, if you look at Rodon's last 5 starts against Arizona, he's actually 0-3 with a 5.53 ERA. But look at the whip, 105. He's only allowing 1 base runner per inning, indicating he got really unlucky to be giving up all those runs. He's not allowing a lot of base runners, so I think Rodon might pitch a really good game here. Obviously, we know it's tricky with Rodon because he was so good in 2022, 288 ERA, a 291 expected FIP. He's elite. And then last year, he was pretty much terrible. So which Rodon's going to show up? It's a tough call. But I think there is evidence to point towards Rodon pitching a good game here against an Arizona lineup that really hasn't hit lefties well, and we'll get into that now. The Diamondbacks do have a few nice pieces that can hit lefties in that lineup, Marte, Walker, Marino, but the other 6 starters, projected starters I should say, their average WRC plus against left-handed pitching over the last 3 seasons, 78.8. And as we mentioned earlier, Ketel Marte has terrible numbers lifetime against Rodon. I know this Arizona team went to the World Series, but It certainly wasn't their hitting against left-handed pitching that got them there. On the year, they were 23rd in WRC+, 25th in isolated power, 20th in walk rate against left-handed pitching. And then you take into consideration that this is a massive step down in competition for Rodon. This dude just had to go into Houston and face an Astros lineup that was one of the best in baseball against lefties last year, especially at home in Houston. So now going on the road to Arizona, a lineup that isn't good against lefties, and their best hitter against lefties he has good career numbers against. I like the spot for Rodon. As far as betting this game, obviously we need to wait for some bullpen usage. Yanks bullpen was pretty taxed heading into tonight's game, but as long as the Yankees bullpen is in decent shape, I think the move would be under 8.5, or if you don't trust Merrill Kelly, D-backs team total under. But I definitely like an under here. Either under 8.5 or Arizona team total under. Like I said earlier, live shows tomorrow. 11 a.m. MLB day games. 3 p.m. Eastern time will be the NBA live show. 4 p.m. Eastern time will go the MLB night games. So if you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. If you want my top bets or any of the staff's top bets, they're all posted on KyleKirms.com. Go check it out if you're interested. There's also a link to join the Discord there right on the homepage. Wednesday night, hopefully by the time you're watching this, I had a nice Tuesday night. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.